I'll just talk about some of the things that you might have said that I thought were kind of weird. Or I don't know if you.
Just as a quick pulse check, do you think that's true?
Do I think that's true?
No, Abba, you're smarter than this. If your girlfriend went to Dubai and she was taking those types of pictures and posting them on Instagram, you'd lose your fucking mind. She's not just traveling to fucking Dubai, like, oh, here I am at a fucking shopping mall. She's in fucking porn poses next to a fucking pool in a fucking swimsuit. What are we talking about right now? This is insane.
Yes. You're buying into the whole red pill narrative. They got a nuke coming out.
They have a nuke coming out? Has Fresh and Fit done their nuke stream yet?
We can see Jin Chen meeting up with a potential client. Okay, I'm not gonna say where this was, but what I'm about to show you guys is all exclusive stuff that no one else has. This is a photo of her meeting up with a guy, and it gets better. We got video and audio. Run the clip.
If you call me an escort, prove it. Prove it.
Firstly, you should pay up.
No. We can transfer. Do you have cash?
Someone sent me a clip of you reacting to what we said, and then you felt like we were being a bit biased, that we weren't demanding enough receipts, all kinds of stuff in regards to the Daisy situation.
Oh, that any of the big claims. Yeah, she hasn't really proven any of the super controversial big claims.
Okay. So why don't we just start here? How do you think this is all going to end? I have a theory of how it's all going to end. I want to see if we align.
My theory is, if I had to guess, my theory is going to be that nothing comes of any of this. Nothing happens.
Define nothing.
She's either not pregnant, or if she is, she's already gotten an abortion, and Fresh is not going to pay out or do anything. That'd be my guess.
Okay. I don't think we're too far off. I also think she's probably not going to keep it. I don't think it makes sense to. I don't think it's also in the best interest of the child. So I mean, as much as I like memeing on Fresh and Fit, like I don't think it's a good thing. So I don't think she's gonna keep the kid. I think she's pregnant. I think she's pregnant with his kid. I just don't think she's gonna keep it, because I mean, you have to think from her perspective. You know, she's a Chinese national. She's gonna go back with a half black kid. I highly doubt that. And what's more, it just doesn't make sense for the kind of lifestyle that she's living. And it seems like she really wants to be with somebody. So like, why price herself out of like a lot of dating options in the future to have a child with Pug CEO? So it just doesn't make sense for all parties. And I just think it's also not good for the kid. So I think it's probably best. But that's my theory on what's probably going to happen. I don't think it makes sense to keep the kid. Even for child support, it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Okay. So going backwards, I think what we probably disagree on is like motive and all these other things, but you felt like bias might play in a role in how I've talked about this. So I'll just talk about some of the things that you might have said that I thought were kind of weird. Or I don't know if you. Yeah. So why don't we just start with you feel like she's a sophisticated person, and as a result of being sophisticated, it doesn't make sense that she's making these dumb decisions. Because you don't think she's an idiot. And you think she is sophisticated, so it doesn't make sense that she's making some of these dating choices.
Yeah, or rather, like when I say sophisticated, I mean like she has prerequisite knowledge in this particular arena of being with guys that have a lot of money that are flying you out and doing stuff. Like, so my guess is she should be able, and she's older, so she's like had time to like live in this world for a while. So I would imagine that she's a relatively competent actor in this sphere. So it would seem weird to me that she would fall for a boy in 1 month and want to have a baby with her and baby with him and everything. That seems, I don't think I can work that in my mind. Yeah.
Okay. So the things that you said before, she's well-traveled.
Mm-hmm.
She competes for bodybuilding. She has like a well-known Instagram, and she's 28 years old. Like based off those qualifiers, you feel like she should be sophisticated enough not to make dumb dating decisions.
Not to fall for, I mean, you can still make dumb dating decisions. That's a little bit too general, but not to fall for somebody like Fresh. This should be like right in her wheelhouse of stuff that she's familiar with or aware of. That'd be my assumption, yeah.
Wait, why would that be your assumption? I don't understand. I don't understand what all those things would have to do with falling for somebody who's love bombing you.
Because she's dealt with, from everything that I can see, what it looks like is she's dealt with a lot of Johns. She's done escorting stuff. She's familiar with like boyish type behavior or lifestyles. Oh, yeah. Okay,
well, why don't we just start with that first claim? Like the escorting stuff, according to Fresh and Fit, she's never been an escort. According to herself, she's never been an escort. So why are you saying she's an escort?
I don't see how she's like traveled to so many places and taken pictures and looked like she's in like an escort advertisement all across her Instagram. That's hard for me to reconcile. It's possible that she just takes those types of pictures and goes to places like Dubai on other people's money for those types of reasons. Is possible, but I'm more inclined to believe that there's some other type of transaction going on.
What kind of pictures? You admit she already did bodybuilding. She's done beauty pageants. Why wouldn't she have photos like that on her Instagram?
Photos advertising that she's in Dubai, like, and she's not taking modeling poses. Well, keep in mind also, when we say modeling, there's different things we mean there. Modeling can mean like you're actually a model and you go and you do modeling events, or modeling can mean you post sexy pictures on Instagram. She definitely seems to be more in the latter category there for the types of things she posts on Instagram. Like her, like on all fours in front of a pool with an incredibly sexy outfit and fake boobs is not like a modeling portfolio folder. That's just like a sexy photo. And you might say you're like an Instagram model or something, but...
Yeah, that's plenty of Instagram models I know do the exact same thing. They post a lot of these photos. They travel. They go to these places. They do little brand deals. Like that's not. Like I'm someone who's very comfortable saying like if someone is an escort, they're an escort. But there's like no. Here's the thing: you're concluding this, and you're using that to make your further conclusions. But
well,
there's
to
really
be
no
clear,
proof
hold on. To
for
be
it.
clear, I'm not concluding it. That's just what I feel is most likely. Like I think that's most likely, and then I'm building off of what I think is most likely. Yeah, but I don't know.
Well, you are though, because to be fair, you called her subhuman filth and a lot of different things, and I'm assuming you're not going to make such strong statements about somebody's character or the fact that whatever they should deserve if you haven't concluded.
I'm making strong statements about that having nothing to do with her past and everything to do with the fact that she's already decided that she's cutting the potential father of her child out of her life forever. And now she's running around the media circuit, basically attacking him. And it seems like nothing that she's doing has anything to do with the child's well-being in mind. That's what makes her subhuman filth to me. That doesn't matter if she's an escort or not.
Okay, so we can discuss that real quick. We'll go to that briefly. So you've given Fresh quite a lot of grace for how he reacted when she told him she was pregnant.
I don't think so.
Because
What do you mean by
said-
grace?
Well, you said, listen, I can imagine that he's reeling from it. He doesn't know what to do because she's just told him that, so he probably doesn't have the best reaction.
Possibly, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So wouldn't you agree that her finding out she's pregnant and then him telling her I'm nothing to do and then disappearing on her would make her have a really adverse reaction?
Yeah, it's possible you could. Although for timeline, I'm pretty sure they'd already broken up before she was pregnant. Number one, and then number two, I could understand. Yeah, her having like
freshly broken up though.
Sure, yeah,
pun intended.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I can imagine her having like a negative reaction as well. Yeah, for sure. But she's not just having a negative emotional reaction. She's going through like a pretty concrete set of steps of like, I contacted a lawyer, then I had a conversation with him where I asked some leading questions, and then I recorded it, and then I leaked it on my Instagram, and now I'm going around a media tour attacking him and then posting a ton of pictures proving my pregnancy and everything else on my Instagram story. That's not just like a random emotional response. Like if she would have been tweeting out like, I was with Fresh and he misled me and now he's pregnant. He got me pregnant and now he's abandoning his fucking child. And he's not going to do anything to help me, blah, blah, blah. I'd be like, oh, I understand this. She's like emotional. But she's not just going through like quote unquote emotional steps right now. She's going through like a pretty intentional set of steps to effect a certain outcome is what it seems like to me.
Steps can be intentional and also be highly motivated in terms by emotions. That's not uncommon. Someone can make you really angry and then you become vindictive at that point. When within a short span of time, you go from not much talking to all of a sudden blowing up their whole spot. That's not abnormal. Like I'm curious to you why you think her set of decisions can't be based off of an emotional response to him completely rejecting her, not only from a relationship standpoint, but also from the pregnancy standpoint, where she's now being told like, I don't give a shit, it's your problem. I don't know why these set of actions afterwards don't fall in line with that. Plenty of people get rejected really hard, and then they go on social media, they start a campaign after their ex on Facebook, or they start contacting a bunch of people. Like, yeah, people do that out of an emotional response to a bad situation.
I mean, even if I were to grant all of that, you can still be a bad person because of the type of actions that you take in response to your emotions on a thing.
Sure. You could say someone is a bad person for that, but I don't think what she's doing right there with somebody calling her essentially a liar and saying like, I'm not going to be involved in all this is, beyond the realm of possibilities or something that it's like, listen, morally, do I think this is a good thing? No. But I could understand someone wanting to be vindictive towards somebody who basically got them pregnant and basically said, "F it, it's your problem."
Yeah, that's possible. But I mean, I say that if you're doing this and you're using a baby to be vindictive, you're subhuman trash. I mean,
all right.
Because you're prioritizing your vindictiveness and everything here over your, I guess, like over any potential future relating to your child, like a kid you bring into the world. It seems like a really bad idea to me, and a really poor moral character, I guess.
Okay, I can get with that. All right, coming back. So, let's see here. On the sophisticated thing. So you think she's an escort. You thought all these things make her a sophisticated person. and so she shouldn't fall for the type of people like Fresh.
Yeah, that would be my assumption, yeah. Because otherwise, at this age, traveling as much as she does, she would have already fallen at this point for somebody else doing some dumb shit like this. That'd be my assumption.
Beyond the fact that, okay, well, her being an escort is up in the air. You can agree you don't know, but you're just assuming. Beyond that, how many times do you see influencers who are of a similar age or even older, people who are well-traveled, people who have huge followings, people who date quite a lot, and they often make incredibly stupid dating decisions in terms of falling for really dumb people? Would you not find that comparable? Like, I know most of the people who are influencers who are really popular make some of the dumbest dating decisions possible in terms of who they choose as partners. Why is that any different for her? I guess what I would just say is I reject the notion that because somebody's popular online and that they're well traveled and that they're 28, they're should be making sensible decisions or avoiding boys. Like, no, I don't think that has anything to really do with it. I think people are just very prone to making bad dating decisions.
Okay,
based
so
off personality.
there's a specificity to the type of stuff that we're talking about here. When I say that she's well-traveled and I say that she's 28 years old and she's dealt with a lot of guys like this, I'm not saying that this is a person who is impervious to making bad decisions about relationships. What I'm saying is that this is a person that should have a lot of familiarity with guys that fit the exact archetype of Fresh. She should know exactly.
What's that archetype? What's that
Of like
archetype?
guys with a lot of money that front a lot, that like talk shit and talk to a lot of girls and are just trying to fuck people and fly girls out and all that, like the love bombing, the weird type of shit like that. That I would imagine that she would have a lot of experience dealing with like tons of guys in this archetype or this category. That doesn't mean that she couldn't necessarily have other relationship problems. It doesn't make her a master of all relationships. To compare this over to the influencer world, right? The reason why streamers end up having problems or falling for people isn't because they have a ton of experience there. Usually it's because of a lack of experience. But something making it more comparable would be like, here's something that I wouldn't believe, okay? Let's say that Pokemon wanted to date a guy, and this guy, and one of the big reasons she wanted to date him was because he was so successful. But let's say that he bought it every single one of his platforms, like crazy. He bought it everything. And then Pokemon would come out afterwards and say like, oh, well, I thought he was way more popular than he was, and he lied and blah, blah, blah. I would say in that sense, like, well, hold on, Pogi, you're a pretty sophisticated person. You've been streaming for a long time. You know how to gauge people's relative popularity. This is your like realm of business. You should know this. Like, if the guy is like lying about all of his socials, everything, you should have a way to figure this out. Like, that would be something that would be harder for me to believe. But if she's like, oh, well, I genuinely like fell in love with this guy and I just wasn't ready or whatever, I don't have a lot of experience dating, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Just because you are sophisticated in one realm or have understandings of one type of thing doesn't mean that you know every single thing relating to that thing. So like if this Asian girl, genuinely fell in love with like a normal dude, or she got swindled by some guy that was like a politician or something, I guess, I don't know, I'd be like, oh, okay, this makes more sense. But a guy like Fresh, I would imagine, and these are assumptions, but I would imagine is going to be a guy that's right up her alley in terms of clients that she's dealt with. That'd be my guess.
I mean, based off how she told the story of how they met, she really said that he stood out from everyone else in regards to how he approached her. He felt like everyone else was approaching him a very specific type of way. She described the way he did it very differently. So,
she says that now, but of course she has to say that. That's her story now, right?
What story?
That
he's somehow different from all the other guys?
That Fresh is the one that is 100% responsible for every single thing going on right now, and this is how he swindled her. That has to be her story. Because if her story is anything different, then there's no...
That story. That's not part of that story. The story that she's telling right now in regards to how they first met is the one that they've always gone with, which is Fresh was like, basically I picked her up, I used my charm, and that's the one that she's also acknowledging as well. Fresh is saying that he never used his cash or any of that stuff or that influence to be able to get her, and that's what she's also acknowledging. So I don't know what the change of the story is.
You're saying that, okay, hold on. You're trying to say that she's saying that Fresh has approached her in a unique way that no guy ever has before. Just
or in a way that's generally different than how most men approach.
Sure. Just as a quick pulse check, do you think that's true?
Do I think that's true? I don't even think it matters whether I think it's true. All that matters is whether or not she felt that was true.
Well, but we don't know what she's feeling. That's why I'm trying to get a gauge on what you think. If we knew what was in her head, we wouldn't be having this conversation. We would just both know.
I think she really believes that. Yeah, I think she really believes that.
Okay.
And that's also what Fresh believes too.
Sure. Well, maybe. But when I look at, again, this is where I'm leaning into her past. When I look at her past, I look at her age. I don't believe that this is the first guy that's ever taken like a love bombing approach to her to try to get her to like date them. That's hard for me to believe. I could be wrong there, but I think that it's a bigger assumption to assume this doesn't happen to her relatively frequently, as opposed to assuming that it has happened to her. I think it's more easy to believe. So that's why I have a hard time believing that she fell for this podcast dude who's on a dating show where they explicitly talk about using and churning through older women that she just didn't know for this guy, and she was like, "Oh my god!" Yeah.
Here's the truth. Maybe she has dated multiple dudes just like Fresh, and she's fallen for it every time.
That's possible, yeah.
And that's also a possibility. People make dumb dating choices all the time on things they should know better, and them not knowing better or all that stuff is not something I would use against them to say you're not credible. People are really fucking stupid when it comes to who they choose as their partners, and we see that all the time. It doesn't matter whether they're players. I look at Fresh. Fresh should know better. How many times did he deals with Instagram thighs? But he can't help but bust inside them and be a fucking retard. People should know better. Just because they should doesn't mean they do, and it doesn't mean it reflects in their dating choices.
Yeah, the comparisons. Hold on, the comparisons are just so different here. Like, if you want to talk about like Fresh being retarded or whatever, I can agree with you. But the difference is that typically for guys, you can get away with making a lot more mistakes in this world than you can for girls. Like, for instance, if a guy and a girl both come up to me and they're both 33 years old and they're active in bar scenes and hooking up and shit, if the guy were to say like, yeah, you know, like I walk away, I get a drink, I'll leave it on the counter, I walk away for a long time and blah, 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 and then I come back, like I might believe that, sure. If a girl told me that, I either wouldn't believe it or I'd be like highly skeptical of a lot of what she's telling me, because a woman faces a lot more risks there than the guy does, like leaving a drink uncovered or just walking away and then coming back to it later, right? So when you say like, well, Fresh is retarded because he's done other things, yeah, of course. But I think in his position, in a way, he's rewarded for his retardation a lot, because if a guy fucks a lot of girls and is a player, especially in their world, they kind of get rewarded for it. So it works out for him. But for her, I don't think it would have worked out up to this point. I think
that's not what the red pillars would say. That's not the truth. They don't get rewarded for it. They often get swindled out of their money. That's one of their biggest fears, according to them. They're terrified that they're going to get the wrong woman pregnant. They're terrified that they're going to get caught up with somebody who's going to put them on a case.
Sure, that's fine. I'm not trying to speak to their worldview. I'm just saying that as a general rule of thumb, like a lot of the things that Fresh is doing and fucking a lot of chicks and being kind of reckless, whatever the fuck, generally there's less penalties for that. He can make it farther in his life than a woman making the same mistakes. I don't think that you can get that far as a woman making those mistakes.
Yeah, I don't even think that really factors in that deeply, because even though that might be true, but you know what? Actually, no. I would concede. Let's say that is true. I still think people would make the dumb decisions irrespective, because I don't think people think about the long-term consequences that deeply most of the time when they make their decisions. That's why a lot of these people are having sex raw, even though they shouldn't. Yeah, there's more risks for women, absolutely, to let a man have sex with you raw. But guess what? Women will still do it, even though they know better, even though they know what teen pregnancies are like, even though they know they might have to do an abortion. They still make dumb decisions because people are very much up in their feels about dumb choices. I don't know how consequences is really the thing that's going to deter people from doing that generally, when in reality, people still do it at huge rates.
Yeah, people can still make dumb decisions. I don't disagree with you there. Yeah.
No. It's not just people can make dumb decisions. You're making the claim that people that should know better shouldn't make those dumb choices. But I'm telling you, people who do know better and they still do the choices.
Do you think that there's any generalization that can be done whatsoever? Or do you think that everybody is the exact same tabula rasa, every single person has the exact same proclivity to make every single decision at all points in time?
Sorry, can you make generalizations? Sure, you can.
Okay, so my generalization of a person in her position is that she's going to be far less likely to fall for something like this or make this mistake than if she was like 10 years younger, or if she was genuinely just like a Chinese girl from Beijing that got flown out to Miami. That if she is indeed going around the world, a lot of dudes, doing all this, you know, whatever she does for her job, that she's going to be pretty aware of this. And if she wasn't, then she would have fallen into a big trap like this way earlier than this. I don't think you get to 28 with all the cosmetic surgery, all the Instagram pictures she has, all of the lifestyle that she's lived or whatever, and then fallen for Fresh. I just don't think that happens. It's possible. I'm not saying it's impossible, but I'm saying that the type of person that makes it that far, I don't think in general is going to fall for that like a 20-year-old would. That would be my thing.
I don't buy that generality, because if you want to say, oh, generally speaking, okay, well, what's the percentage you're putting on that? If you're saying most of the time, okay, like what percentage? But the way you're talking right now, you're like, that's super unlikely. I just disagree with that notion.
Well, I think the whole thing from my story is, I said I'm probably like 75-ish% confident on my story right now for that's everything that's happened. I mean, like I said, there are things that they're like piece of evidence. There are other things I could see that would like change my mind a lot, but everything seems to continue to point in this direction for me.
Okay, all right, yeah. I don't know if I would agree that people who know better and should know better necessarily make the right decision.
I'm not saying necessarily though. You're doing this weird 100% thing. They would in general though, wouldn't they?
It depends on what. I don't think on the topic of relationships that's necessarily true. No.
You don't think in general somebody with more relationship experience can navigate a relationship better than in general somebody with less relationship experience?
Do I think that somebody with more relationship experience is going to make a better decision than somebody with less? I don't think people's good dating decisions generally comes from their experiences. I think it comes from the values that they inherit. That's what I believe. So I don't really think it matters that much how much you date. In fact, I would argue some of the people I know who've dated the most make the dumbest fucking choices when it comes to the people they date. Yeah.
Okay, so then in that case, what set of values does she have that lets her make it to this age at 28, but still fall for fresh, but still travel internationally?
You'd have to look at her family background. You'd have to look at her attachment style. You'd have to look at a lot of different things. But I think the most strong predictors for whether or not you're going to make good dating choices are the kind of influences you've had from a young age and the kind of culture you've embedded in that regards. I think that's way more important than dating a bunch of women. How many times do I know guys who
The issue that I'm running into right here when I'm looking at this in my brain is I'm not rejecting or accepting a single story. The issue I'm having is I feel like the story that you're presenting me can't be in multiple points at time. So for instance, if you were saying, if we look at her family values and all this, we can get a better idea of how she dates or whatever, that's fine. But if she's a woman that comes from like a strong family with good values and all this, why the fuck is she with Fresh? What happened there? Or if you're going to tell me, well, hold on, I'm not saying she has strong values. I'm saying maybe she was raised with weak ones or she doesn't know how to interpret men like this. Then I say, okay, well, that could be possible. Then how is it she made it till 28 in this world? That's the issue that I'm having, is that if you sell me on one of these narratives, it doesn't seem that it can be true at all points in time. I don't understand how that works.
I'm not selling you on any of these narratives. I'm not telling you that she did or didn't have a good family. I'm not telling you that she should inherently know better because of her, background, or it should be much, much, much more likely. I'm simply saying we don't have that information. To say one way or the other is silly. And I think the qualifiers that you're using to say she should know better aren't actually real qualifiers for why people should be better in dating. I don't believe that. No. I don't think you traveling really matters. I don't believe that. I don't think that
you don't think that a woman being exposed to a ton of guys trying to seduce her or mind fuck her or whatever, you don't think that woman is more protected against boys than a naive 20-year-old girl that has no idea? You don't think there's no difference there in general? You can't generalize either person?
Do I think that someone who's exposed more than someone who's not exposed is going to be better off in terms of making dating decisions?
Or no, not just, you keep broadening this to all dating decisions. Everybody can still make...
for a guy like Fresh.
Yeah.
I don't think it's that big of a factor, no.
Okay, I think it's a huge factor. So maybe we just disagree there.
Yeah, no, I don't think that's a good factor at all, actually.
Okay. I think this is explicitly why they try to say that they should try to date like 19, 20-year-olds, is because if they find older women, they usually can call them out on their shit way quicker. They don't fall for it as much.
Yeah, no, actually, in my experience, the people who have the healthiest relationships and the best choices in life in terms of who they date are the people who haven't dated that much, actually. The people who date a lot are the ones who have the most dysfunctional dating lives. That's been my experience, and I pretty much would die on that hill. And I think most of the studies that I've seen pretty much back that up, too. The people with dysfunctional dating lives are the people who date a lot and are exposed to a lot of people, yeah.
Okay.
Well, is that even controversial to you?
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of weird inferencing here that's dumb and wrong. And the statement of like, I think actually having the least amount of experience is better, because I've seen studies that show that hardcore Christians that are virgins when they get married and hate their partner for their whole life, but because they're religious, that means that it's like the best style of relationship. No, I think that's totally fucking retarded. No, I think that having more experiences in areas in life generally lets you make better decisions in those areas. Yeah, I'm sure you can know people that are super dysfunctional, that make a ton of bad decisions, and these people might have the most dating experience. But I think in general, most people would say like, oh, should you try to end up with your high school sweetheart forever? They'd say, well, no, you probably did somebody in high school, you probably did somebody in college, you date a few times, you learn what you like, and then when you're a little bit older, you have like better abilities to make decisions. Like, yeah, you can meet those people that got super lucky and they were their high school sweetheart forever, or you can meet those people that date like 50 million people and are always miserable. Those people exist, but we can make generalities. We're doing this weird thing where you're like, oh, you can't generalize any single person ever from any single point of, and if you think that, that's fine, but then I don't know, then there's no...
I disagree. I think you can generalize. I think just what you're using to generalize and to come to your conclusion is just not something I agree with.
Okay, but then if we generalize on any other thing...
I made a generalization. I don't think generalizations don't work. I'm saying people who come from good family backgrounds and have an inherent certain set of values are probably going to have much better dating outcomes and choices they kind of make in their partners than your generality. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying my generality is much more relevant to this topic than yours.
But you're not even generalizing because you don't know anything about it. So you have no information. So you're literally just blank slating her. Like you have nothing. Do you think that she came, like if you had to guess, do you think she came from a family with really high values or a family with like kind of trashy values, if you had to guess?
No. So I'm not using my generality to say that she's doing something good or wrong or anything like that. I'm not saying this even justifies what her dating decisions. I'm simply saying that yours is a bad generality to use in order to determine why she made those decisions or why she shouldn't have. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, I completely disagree. I think that dealing with more
I haven't been
fuckboys,
sitting
but
here-
sure.
I haven't been sitting here being like, oh, the reason why Daisy isn't done anything wrong is because she came from a bad family, and that justifies her. The reason why a person like her. That's not what I said. I've never made that claim. You're the one who's making the claim based off your generality that her story is not believable.
Yeah,
That's
I do,
why.
but that's because any of the different things that you try to say, I don't think that can. I don't know how she makes it to 28 with a. I don't know how she makes it to 28 with any of the things you're ascribing to her, and either hasn't fallen for this already or wouldn't be smart enough to sniff out fresh. I don't know. Like, can you even give me a hypothetical for how that works that way?
Yeah, there's women. Apparently, he's rotating 4 other women, and he's constantly rotating women in and out who go in. So people are always falling for his bullshit. All the women in Miami are falling for his bullshit. It's very
Wait, that's
common.
first of all, I don't know if any of them are falling for his bullshit. My guess is going to be that for the vast majority of people that these red pill guys are rotating, they know exactly what they're into and they know exactly what they're getting. Generally, unless you find somebody really young or somebody who's totally outside of this world and you get them like that. But I'm not saying compared to like random other women that they might get. I mean, for her story specifically, what possible line has she traveled through time to get to where she's at now that explains how she hasn't been like mind fucked before by a guy, but now is getting mind fucked by Fresh at 28 years old?
You're assuming that because she got mind fucked by Fresh, it could not have happened to her before. I'm telling you, maybe she falls for this regularly. I don't know.
Yeah, and that was the thing where I said that could be one thing that would change my perspective on it. If I find out like, oh, actually, like every 2 years she gets like super mind fucked by some dude, and I'd be like, oh, okay, fuck, maybe she's retarded. That's possible, but I don't have any information that shows that, but it's possible.
It's possible, exactly. It's very possible. People, you and I, we both know people who make the same retarded dating choices every time, even though they shouldn't.
You keep generalizing it to just random dating. It's not just random.
Hold on. Let me rephrase.
Yeah.
You and I both know people who date the exact same type of person hundreds of times and keep making the same mistake.
Yeah, but generally it's because it comes down to what you're punished for and what you're rewarded for. That's the difference. I don't think that the reason why people make bad decisions or make the bad decision over and over again is because from a third party perspective, we or you might interpret it as being like, oh, well, that's a bad decision. But from that person's perspective, they'll totally take the high of dating somebody, having a lot of fun for a year or two, and then the toxic fallout afterwards. They'll take that. I'm like, oh, fuck it, I'll do this again. And they keep doing it over and over again. Now, from an external perspective, you might be like, oh, well, this is a really bad decision. But in their world, they're basically getting rewarded for it. But there are some decisions that like you can't get rewarded for. So for instance, you don't know any friends who are 35. You don't know a single person who's 35 who really likes to play in traffic because you wouldn't make it that far. You'd get killed, right?
What?
You don't know anybody who enjoys playing in traffic, who's made it to you might know a 6-year-old that likes playing in traffic, but you're not going to know a 26-year-old that likes playing in traffic because they're going to die.
Think kind of examples are analogous. I don't think people.
I think it's 1-to-1 analogous because if you're a woman and you travel the world and you're getting flown out by people.
Tell you why.
Okay, go
Even
ahead.
the way you framed it is a bit bizarre because you talked about like, oh, they're looking for the high and the pleasure of that same experience. Now, again, I didn't want to make this personal to you. I feel like that's how you kind of operate, regardless of how you choose people. That's not
How
what I'm
am
saying.
I haven't made this personal, anybody, but go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, my apologies. Then I was not trying.
No, go for it. I don't care. Knock yourself out. You make any comparison you want. I don't care.
Okay,
All good.
well, just to be clear, it sounded like you were talking about yourself. Most people, when I think they make a lot of the same decisions in terms of the kinds of people they date and then repeat that, I think it's because they're either thinking it's going to be a different outcome the next time or they're hoping for something. They're not going into it like, oh, I can't wait for the same high of being treated like dog shit by the same person. That's not what they're going in for. They're doing it because they think it's going to be different or they have a pattern that they can't acknowledge about themselves. Your situation and the one that you're describing is a very peculiar one. This is like somebody who's looking for a high and they don't care how self-destructive it is. That's not the same thing.
Because I think that because you can only get away with a certain type of behavior based on how destructive it is and based on the reward you get for it. So if somebody has the mindset of like, oh, well, it's going to be different this time and they keep going in, there must be something they're getting out of it during the actual process, even if it ends up poorly, that they're willing to endure the downside. But if the downside is too much, which I think it would be in her circumstances, I don't think you can overcome that. Like another thing would be like a guy that says, I really like dating crazy girls. You can meet a guy who's 35 that says he likes dating crazy girls. You can find a lot of guys like that. You're not going to find a woman who's 35 who likes dating crazy guys because she's going to get fucking murdered. You just can't make it through that many crazy guys as a woman. They're going to kill you. Whereas for crazy women, you can go through a ton of those as a guy. That's what I mean. It's the difference between punishing somebody for their mistakes. Like women tend to get punished a lot in this arena more for making mistakes than men do, I think.
I agree. And so what ends up happening is that maybe they like the high of being love bombed. Maybe like that feeling of someone really truly desiring them and saying all the right things is like so intoxicating they can't walk away. There can be a lot of
I
possibilities.
agree. I agree with what you just said, but deal with this. I feel like the downside, if you're 28, you're not going to make it through too many of those experiences because you're either going to get pregnant or guy's going to kill you. You're going to get abducted. You're going to get actually trafficked. I don't think you can float through what if she was 22, I could believe it, but 28 doing this for over 5 years, I don't think so.
Hey, listen, I think people can go on to their 30s, even early 40s, making a lot of the same mistakes. Now, obviously, you'd hope by that point they would learn, but 28 is not so old.
It's not making a lot of the same mistakes. It's making mistakes that carry high costs. Do you agree with this?
High cost? Hold on. What are the high costs?
High costs would be getting pregnant. High costs would be being trafficked. High cost would be a guy that abducts her and refuses to let her leave his house. High cost would be a guy killing her out of jealousy. A high cost would be a man spreading a ton of rumors about her online because she
I think you're loading this with like the most extreme examples.
Hold on, wait. Which one of those examples was extreme?
Someone kidnapping her, someone doing all this other stuff. Like obviously the outcomes that she probably had up until now.
Wait. She's literally being flown to Dubai. That has a track record of visa trapping workers that show up there. You think it's an extreme or unbelievable thing to say that if she's getting flown out to Dubai by a guy paying her a ton of money, that he wouldn't be incredibly jealous if like she was getting love bombed by him and then changed her mind? You think that's an extremely unbelievable scenario? I do agree with you for most normal people would be, but she doesn't live a normal life. This is just a normal random girl.
I think you're loading this into stuff that you can't actually prove is there. So the whole being her flown out, all these things that you're assuming about her, you're using that to be able to further your argument. You can't prove any of these things.
I can't prove it. No, of course, but you can't prove your side. At the end of the day, we're all inductively reasoning things out.
Yes, but you're the one who's making extreme claims about her life that you can't prove, and you're using that to further your argument. I'm not making extreme claims about her life. You're the one doing that. You're the one who's saying she's getting flown out everywhere and getting tossed around by the richest dudes. Now everyone's going to assume it because she's an attractive woman, and that's just what happens. But you can't.
You're lying. So wait, what are we talking about? Because she's an attractive woman? No, it's because she's a machine-built woman. She's got a ton of cosmetic surgery, huge fake tits. She edits her fucking Instagram photos, and she takes sexy pictures of herself in the pool near Dubai. This is not just an attractive woman who just happens to be like traveling the world. What are we talking about here? That comparison is insane.
Okay, first off, we got to stop this whole thing. Dubai. Do you realize that people all over Europe go to Dubai all the time to be able to travel there? It's not like I think maybe you've never been, so you don't realize this. Even when I flew in from London, there's a bunch of people who just go there to go visit. Not everybody who's going there and taking pictures there is all getting flown out to get by somebody.
Okay,
all right?
She's not going. Okay, this is like so generalized. It's silly.
No, because you're not. I don't.
If she went to Dubai and she had a set of pictures of herself, visiting monuments and like going around town or whatever, that'd be one thing. It's not. It's her in fucking doggy style outside of a fucking pool. It's not just random pictures. I feel like I'm talking to a chatter right now. Abba, you're smarter than this. If your girlfriend went to Dubai and she was taking those types of pictures and posted them on Instagram, you'd lose your fucking mind. She's not just traveling to fucking Dubai like, oh, here I am at a fucking shopping mall. She's in fucking porn poses next to a fucking pool in a fucking swimsuit. What are we talking about right now? This is insane.
Yes. You're buying into the whole red pill narrative.
It's not a red pill narrative.
It is absolutely
right.
a red pill narrative. You are literally just looking at these pictures and then you're like, oh, she's doing it. That's it. That's what you're doing.
Okay.
And then you're using that to further the rest of your argument. You have zero proof other than the fact that you have circumstantial stuff about her being in a place, and you're like, yeah, you know what? She must be a prostitute. She must be a hooker. She must be an escort. You are concluding heavily based off of very limited circumstantial evidence. Not even a good one.
You keep saying I'm concluding. Yes, I don't have access to her records. I don't know 100%. I'm just making what I think are. You're trying to say that these inferences are so insane. Where the f*** does she get the money to travel to all these places? What does she do for work?
Have you had the chance to ask her when you talked to her?
Nope.
Okay. All right. Do you know about her family background? According to Fresh and Fit, they're incredibly wealthy.
I don't believe that for a microsecond.
Hold on. That's Fresh and Fit, though. That's their claims.
I don't care what their claims. I'm sorry. Hold on. Do you think that I believe Fresh and Fit when they talk about anything? I'm sorry. That's not true. I do not believe she comes from a wealthy background. No shot. I don't believe that from a microsecond.
So you are the most detached person from this whole thing. You don't believe Fresh and Fit or either of the parties involved. You don't have any actual proof of anything. You're just going based off your own conclusions to make.
What proof did they provide that she's from a wealthy family? Why are you believing Fresh and Fit only when it's against them, but you don't believe them when it's in favor of them? Why would you believe them when you don't think that it's reasonable that Fresh could get swindled by some girl that lies and says she's a millionaire when she made her money fucking other dudes in other countries? That completely sound like it fits with Fresh's story that he'd fall for that?
Hold up. At the time when they weren't having issues, these were the things that they were claiming. So what incentive did they have to really lie about her background?
What incentive do you have to lie about a girl who's traveling the world and saying that she actually comes from a wealthy family and that's why she has the money to do it? What do you have every incentive to lie?
What was the incentive? Go ahead.
The incentive is that you don't want it to seem like your girl's getting paid by flying out and visiting John's. She's got a wealthy family. That's why she travels so much.
So let me just get you on the record. You feel like they were lying about the fact that she's a hooker?
I think
That's what you're saying. I just want to make sure. That's the claim?
I think if she was an escort or a hooker, I think they would lie about it. Yes, absolutely. I think they would lie about it.
To be clear, so we got you on record. You feel like they were lying about the fact that she's an escort?
Yes, I think so. Yeah, I would think so. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So if that's the claim that you're making, you feel like that's enough. All right. Then I'm going to concede this point. It's
Hold on, real quick. Do you think that a red pillar or even Fresh and Fit in general would ever fuck a girl who's an escort and lie about it to get credit?
Do I believe they would do that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that.
Okay. All right. So we're not far apart on this at all, but okay.
Yeah. I just didn't know that you thought they were lying about her being an escort. Okay, so you feel like they were lying. They weren't very credible that they lied about her being an escort.
Yeah. I'm only hedging here because I haven't heard them actually say this. But yeah, if he's like, oh no, this girl's not an escort at all.
Yeah.
What?
No. You're going to take a strong stance. You've been taking a strong stance.
Well, you're the one that wants to ascribe a 100% stance to me. I'm just saying I haven't heard them say this. But if they're saying that like she's not an escort or whatever, if they were looking, here's what I know for sure, that if they looked at that girl's Instagram in any other circumstance, they would 1,000,000,000% say that this girl's an escort 1,000,000%. And if a guy claimed otherwise, they would say that she's lying about it. Now, if Fresh did like a live stream where he's like, actually, I've got a tree of her whole genealogy here and I can track through all of this and I've talked to her mom and blah, blah, blah. And then he says, well, I might be more likely to believe him then, maybe. That's the only reason I'm hedging it. But if all he said was like, oh, no, guys, trust me, she's not an escort, then I'd be like, bullshit, dude. Of course she's fucking escort. You might even paid her. That's what I would say. Yeah.
I agree people would lie, and I agree they would have that stance. I agree with you 100%. Listen, you feel like she's an escort. They're claiming she's not. I'm saying I don't know. I don't think there's been enough conclusive stuff for me to determine that, or to say it's very likely.
Sure, but I mean, like, we also know that like these guys literally shop like seeking arrangements and shit to find girls. We also know that she said that she wouldn't date a guy who doesn't make less than $1 million. So I mean, like, all of it points in that direction. I don't know 100%, but that would be my assumption. Yeah, and if they said no, she's not an escort, that's not information for me. If they give a reason why she's not an escort, then sure. But he has every incentive to lie about it. So no, I'm not going to believe him when he says no, she's not an escort.
Okay. All right, I'm with that.
Also, I don't understand that the story of her family being wealthy doesn't line up with anything. Why is she so desperate for financial support from Fresh? Why can't she leave the United States? Why?
So she can't leave the United States. She can leave at any point if she wants to.
Well, but she said I think she was making it sound like she couldn't, or she might have said she couldn't. I think when she was on Jessica's stream talking to us.
That's not what she told me. So I don't know. Maybe she told you guys something different, but she can't leave.
I don't remember.
She's already setting up her own visa situation, so she's good. But again, she could be lying about all this stuff. So I believe her. That's fine. But that's all she's told me. As far as the whole financial contribution and child support, to me, this is my perspective. Now, you have your perspective on mine. Mm-hmm. I just suspect that she's mad at this dude. Well, obviously, she's mad about the breakup. That's definitely a part of it. And I think she's also upset by the fact that he just kind of threw her to the wind when she was pregnant. So I think this is her just being like, you're going to pay for this somehow. I don't think she actually needs the money. I don't believe that at all. But again, that's not something I could prove, so I wouldn't die on this hill.
Yeah, that's possible. Sure.
Yeah. Okay. Here it is. You said she was very dumb because she found a guy from a dating show, who talked about how women are servants, and then you flew into Miami to be on a panel, and you think he is dateable. Does that sound close to what you said?
Probably, yeah.
Okay. Why do you think she was in Miami?
But probably to fuck somebody. That'd be my guess. I don't know.
Was that?
Probably to fuck somebody. That'd be my guess. If I think she's escorted around the world, that'd be my guess.
Okay. I just didn't know from the quote. It sounded like you think she flew in to be on the fucking Fresh and Fit podcast.
Oh, I don't think so. Because I think she said that she flew in on her own dime. She said that, which at the very least means that Fresh couldn't have flown her in because she wouldn't lie about that, knowing that Fresh could disprove it. I wouldn't think with receipts. Yeah. So if she was flown in, it wasn't by Fresh. And then, Fresh didn't fly her in. So, but I don't know how she got on the show. Have any of the producers came out or said why she's on the show? It sounded like
so they met well before she was ever on the show. So they met at some club, and that's how they ended up meeting. So she actually didn't know anything about the dude before, and so that's how they progressed the relationship, according to both of them.
But if they met at a club, he probably brought up that he did the show immediately. I'm sure that's his first talking point.
She didn't say that. Maybe Fresh was going to claim differently, but essentially. But she saw his Instagram at some point, so she probably would have figured things out in regards to what she said. But they went on dates from that. So Is it possible that maybe this girl didn't see him through the podcast, but saw him through the lens of a person first? Obviously, she saw like the wealth and everything. Don't get me wrong, but she took him in that way, and then later on learned about everything else that was going on.
It's possible, yeah.
Okay,
But I don't think that that's congruent with a lot of her other story. Like the idea that you can tell me if you understood this. I didn't understand this. It sounded like she was saying that she knows or accepts that he'll fuck other girls or knows that men are like that, but he said he wouldn't, so she didn't expect him to, or she did expect him to. What was her ultimate stance on that?
about sleeping with other people.
Yeah, on the one-sided open relationship. I don't know at the end of the day like what her actual position on that was.
Yeah, I think she said something along the lines of it's kind of early, and I know he's going to do stuff anyways. So I didn't want to rush things early in the relationship, but when I got back, I was hoping things would be different. Something like that.
Okay, interesting. I don't know. Okay.
Yeah.
And then why did she go on the show?
Fresh invited her.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. I think the reason why is like we all know Fresh and Fit from their stuff online, so we're like, these guys are clearly undateable. Why would you ever want to date them? But I'm trying to say is it's highly possible that people meet them in person outside of the whole online context of the world, and then they're like, oh, I'm enamored by this person. They're taking me out on dates. They're really pushing for things. It seems great. Then you find out all the other stuff later on. You're like, well, this feels very differently than the person I'm meeting on a day-to-day basis. It's possible to be kind of assuaged by the person themselves and not necessarily the public image, if that makes sense.
That's possible, but I would assign a low probability to that. I would say a much higher probability is as soon as you meet somebody and you find out they're involved in like a lot of online stuff, you're probably going to like look around a little bit because you're kind of curious. That would be my...
True. And you know what another possibility is? Maybe she looked at all that stuff and she's like, I still think this guy's dateable.
Yeah, it's possible, but then I have trouble
just
reconciling
better.
how
We're just
she could be so naive there but not have fallen for anything up till now. Although maybe she has and we just haven't heard about any of that.
Yeah, fair. Okay.
Do we know anything about this bracelet thing? Like what the...
Yeah, you said you didn't believe it?
Or I don't even know what the claim is. So is the story initially that he bought her a bracelet but it was fake, so she made them go to a store and they went 50-50 on it? Why does nobody have receipts of this fucking bracelet purchase?
Oh no, there's receipts. Do you want to see them?
Yeah.
Okay, I can send them to you. Just keep them to yourself.
Sure.
So yeah, she wasn't lying about that. Yeah, there's actual like credit card statements and everything. There you go. So yeah, this is also the same thing that Fresh claimed he never paid a dime for, and that O'Myron also doubled down on the podcast when they were called out by their fans. But they said they never paid a dime. But
Yeah, which makes sense. They would lie about that because Fresh and Fit, neither of them want to be seen as simps, right?
yeah, okay. So here are the two pictures. You can actually see it's in Chinese currency. So if you do the conversion rate to US dollars, it actually amounts to half of the purchase. And if you look on the actual receipt itself, if you look at forms of payment, there's two forms of payment. One's a chip and one's a Visa. And so that's the two forms of payment. He paid by Visa, and I think she paid by chip.
CUP. That's like a... Oh, it's probably just a Chinese credit card or something. Okay.
Chip card right below. Yeah, so there's two forms of payment. You wouldn't do that unless you're splitting it between two forms of payment. So that's where they split it 50-50.
Gotcha. Just curious, did she show you the bracelet?
No, I think people saw it. No, they were in their pictures, and everyone looked it up, and they all knew how much it cost.
Does anybody know if she still has that bracelet? Like, has that shown up since they broke up in any videos or pictures anywhere?
I don't know. Why?
Curious if she took it back and got the money for it.
Nah, she probably just kept it. She already paid half. It doesn't make sense to.
Why not? You get $15,000 from Fresh for free, no? Oh, no, it might go back to his card.
That's why I'm saying I don't think she's desperate for money, because if she can afford to just drop $15K on this fucking thing, then she's probably not broke. Like, this whole idea that this girl's looking for some kind of, like, she pay out her child support from Fresh, like, it doesn't seem really reasonable.
I agree. I don't think she's looking for child support. I think she's looking for a big payday for the abortion.
Okay.
Like, she wants, like, 50 grand or something, or 100 grand for an abortion.
Okay, it's possible. I'm not gonna say it's not, but all this to say, Fresh was lying on stream, and then she was telling the truth about that whole situation. Oh, listen, at the end of the day, I don't think Fresh has much credibility, but that's just one opinion. But yeah, you wanted receipts. I think you felt I was being biased because I didn't show them, but they're there.
For the bracelet, yeah. Yeah, looks like they bought it.
Okay. Okay. All right. Let's see. Yeah, I think that pretty much covers, I think, the biggest points of contention. Is there anything else that you want to lay on the case that you felt still very strongly about?
No, I don't think so. We'll see what happens, I guess. What are your final predictions for how it all ends?
I said she probably not gonna keep the baby, and it doesn't make sense too.
Okay. Yeah, 100% I would agree that that's going to be the case. She'll abort no matter what. Or she's not even pregnant. I'm not sure on that one. Although she has posted a lot of stuff, but...
Yeah, I think the pregnancy thing is real. Like I said, if it looked iffy, if the proof didn't look real or anything like that, I probably would have been super skeptical, but that looked all real. I just don't think it makes sense to keep the child.
Okay.
They got a nuke coming out.
They have a nuke coming out?
Yeah, so they're going to drop it today. They're about to expose the shit out of her.
Oh. Wait, people are posting things in my chat.
They even put me in the thumbnail. They're going crazy.
Oh, shit. They're going after it.
You remember last time they had a nuke? What did they end up doing? They just lost their channel.
Yeah, I think that's called a friendly fire.
That happens sometimes. Actually, I wanted to come back to some of the stuff we were discussing before that's not necessarily related to her specifically.
Yeah.
On the topic of making better choices because you have more experience. Do you think that's one of the large? Do you think that's like the largest determining factor for why somebody would make good dating choices? The more experience they have.
I think that in general, the more experience you have, the better decisions you can make. Yeah, but I don't think. I mean, it's not necessarily going to be true for every single person, but I think in general that's true. Yeah.
When you say more experience, do you feel that about most things, or are you talking about just dating specifically?
I think that's probably true for most things, I would imagine, unless you're going to be really autistic. Like, you're probably not going to have, like, having experience donating one kidney is not going to mean that donating your second kidney is going to go better. I mean, like,
okay, right.
for most kids, I would say it's probably true, yeah.
Okay. I'm going to do some research on that one. Maybe I'll get back to you at some point. But I think that's pretty much it for me. Is there anything else?
No, that's all I can think of right now.
All right. Do you still think Daisy's a subhuman filth?
Unless she significantly changed a lot of her positions? Yeah, I think so.
Gotcha. And you think Fresh is a subhuman filth?
Yeah, with the way that they approach dating and romance and all that, yeah, I think it's pretty gross, yeah.
And on the last point, this is my last one. I think busting inside of girls nonstop while they telling you, like, yo, I'm trying to get pregnant. I want to keep this baby.
My guess is I don't think they ever actually had serious conversations about that. I don't believe that.
In person, you mean like face-to-face talk?
Ever. I don't think they ever had real conversations about that. I know she's got like the text that she has, but without seeing all of how they text each other, I don't know how much of that is serious versus how much of that is like half memes versus how much is that. It's just hard to say without having like a full record of like how they text each other.
Yeah. Okay, hold up. I'm going to just show you this text. Like, I don't know if this makes you feel any type of way, but let me just show. It's so weird seeing somebody's text messages about busting inside of each other, but here we are. You can read these if you want to. I don't really care. So this is a different pregnancy scare. So there's not just one or two. I think this is the third one.
All right. Do we have a date for this, or?
You can see the numbers. I just can't do the whole Chinese dates, but you can see the other one was like 4-5. This is 110. So I think there's a month difference.
Gotcha. So from Fresh, he says, I've been working on calls or video. She says, all right, babe, get well soon. He says, thanks, babe. She says, got period. So weird, I'm not pregnant. Go get tested, BB. I will do it when I'm back. He said, oh, wow. Okay, I will. I'm going to watch this Chinese movie. And I came in you a lot. And then is the next page from...
It's the same one. It just follows up, I think.
Okay, so she says, you should watch it. He says, why do you feel like you have something? She said, I meant you came in me a lot. I should be pregnant by now. And then he said, and then posts pictures. And then she says, what post? And then he says, the new post I just did.
I'm sorry, but she's constantly hinting that she's trying to get pregnant. Not hinting, she's saying it. I should be pregnant. And his response is just,
Yeah, that's pretty retarded. I don't know what the...
I'm sorry, bro. You can't say that's baby trapping. That's 3 different months. She's talking about, I thought I was going to get pregnant this month. Yo, I can't, I'm trying to have your babies. Come on, bro.
Yeah, hold on. I'm sorry. This is another thing. I don't know if we agree on this. What does baby trapping mean to you? Or what do you mean when you hear baby trapping?
What I mean when I think of baby trapping is using like deceptive methods, either about like the form of birth control you are, or the stuff that you like, how safe sex is, in order to entrap somebody into some kind of relationship, or for financial gains potentially.
Okay.
So
I guess
like
when I think of
involved.
when I think of baby trapping, I don't necessarily think of the intention at the point of getting pregnant. I think of baby trapping as anytime you're trying to leverage a child or a pregnancy in order to get money. That's what so like if 2 people are having sex and they're being reckless with birth control or some shit, and then the girl gets pregnant and she's like, but she's like, listen, if I get pregnant, it's fine, fuck it. And then she's like, okay, well, listen, I'll get an abortion, but you got to pay me out. Like in my mind, that's like a form of like baby trapping. Even if she didn't like necessarily.
Yeah, okay. I think what you're describing is not good, but I don't think that's how people use baby trapping at all. Baby trapping is like generally used towards wealthy men. It's basically women are like, oh, they poke holes in the condom, or they say they're on birth control, but they're not.
I agree that those things can be baby trapping for sure.
Yeah, that's how most people use it, though. I think the way you're using it is not how people use it. Like when people are thinking about baby trapping, that's not what they're thinking of.
If
that's
if a girl says that,
you receive so much pushback.
Sure. If you say, yeah, because I see a lot of people putting that intentionality thing. But let's say that you've got a girl and you agree, you're both having a conversation, like, okay, listen, if you get pregnant, you're getting an abortion, right? And then let's say that she gets pregnant, and she's like, well, fuck, I'm having second thoughts. I don't know now, actually. Like, I think I'm going to keep it. Would you consider that baby trapping or no?
I think that's like really on the borderline edge, and I'd probably say yes. Yeah.
Huh. Okay.
But that's on the edge for me. Yeah. Because I'm sympathetic to men who are in a relationship with somebody and like they both discuss they don't want a baby, and then something happens and like, I'm keeping the baby. Like, yeah, to me that's just not fair to the guy at all. And I don't think that's.
Yeah,
like,
I'm not necessarily thinking about in terms of like fair or not. I guess when I think of baby trapping in my mind, I'm just thinking of like leveraging a baby or leveraging a potential pregnancy for money is what I'm thinking in terms of.
Yeah, no, I get that, but that's not how people use the term. Even there, I don't think people would call that instantly baby trapping. Baby trapping is like very specific. Like you're going after somebody and using a baby to keep them in your life or to get their money. That's what they're thinking of. That's why.
Let's say, what if you meet a girl at a club? Let's say you guys meet and you hit it off a ton, and then you end up going back to somebody's room. You guys, you never ask her for anything about protection. You don't use it. You busted her fully, whatever. And then she gets pregnant, and she's like, "Well, listen up."
No, that's not baby trapping. Not at all.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, because you guys didn't discuss anything. Like you were just busted inside of her raw. Like you guys were both making really stupid decisions. But that's not like a trap you set. No, that's just 2 people making a really dumb decision. This would be a baby trapping for like regular people. Let's say some girl likes a guy, but he's like, I don't want to be in a relationship with you. She's like, that's fine. You can just bust.
You keep giving me examples of like the super intentional from the beginning. I agree with that. Well, obviously that's 100% baby trapping.
Okay.
I feel like anytime you're leveraging, well, yeah, I've already said this 20 times, but I get maybe you use a different term for this.
No, I get what you're trying to say. I think what you're describing is definitely something that's bad, and I agree, but I just don't think you're using the right term. So I think that's why people had an issue with it. But you were just say like, I think it's terrible to use that as leverage. I think everyone would have probably been on your side. I think baby trapping just assumes a certain level of intent that you were ascribed, like your use of the word ascribed to the situation, even if that's not what you were thinking.
Well, I do think that too, but I'm curious.
Okay, so you think she was properly baby trapping? Like, you think she meant that?
I do, but I have I got way lower conviction on that one, because everything that you said before is true, and that like she could have genuinely fallen for him. She could have genuinely like had feelings and thought they could have a family, blah blah blah. Like the idea that she's like genuinely baby trapped from the start, that conviction is like, I don't know, like 20 to 40%. That's a way lower conviction one. Like properly.
I mean,
baby
if
trapping,
she's trying to baby trap him, she's not doing a good job, because think of it this way: if I was trying to baby trap a guy, and I wanted to get pregnant, I would not be constantly telling him that I'm trying to get pregnant. Why? Because I just want him to make a dumb choice and bust inside me. But she's literally texting him all the time, like, "Oh, I don't know where my periods work. Like, my baby trap hasn't worked yet, and like this guy's still busting inside her. You don't give a shit. Like, it doesn't make sense to me. That's a poor strategy to baby trap somebody. That's gotta be one of the dumbest ways to do it. Constantly telling the other person you're trying to have their children. That's not no. To me, that's a bad way to baby trap. You would not tell them that. You'd make them feel super comfortable so that they would bust inside you and they feel like everything's fine. That's the smartest way. Why would you do it the other way? That's gonna make most guys recoil and run away. So it just doesn't make sense to do it.
Yeah, I agree with that, but I think it's also equally weird that like Fresh, they've had a conversation about having babies, and Fresh is like trying to get these pregnancy tests, and in the other DMs, it sounded like he was happy or glad that she wasn't pregnant. Why would he think that why would he say that to her in a text if he was trying to love bomb her saying she should get pregnant? I don't understand that either. That's why I wish there was like one serious conversation about them talking about like having a family or pregnancy or whatever. Like one serious conversation, I feel like would illuminate this or not. And that's why that was one of the things I said could change me fully. If they had like a serious conversation with like, hey, listen, like just so you know, like we're fucking unprotected. Like I could get pregnant. If Fresh was like, listen, if you get pregnant, like we'll take care of it. Like I can provide, or I can do this, or blah blah blah. Then I'd be like, oh shit, okay, well now like, geez, not only could she get pregnant, Fresh seems like he was at least at one point willing to be supportive of it, and he's not doing anything to prevent it. These messages make Fresh fucking retarded if she's saying things like, wow, I can't believe I'm not pregnant or whatever. But I guess I don't know. This is why I wish they would have had a serious conversation about abortion or anything else beforehand so I could see like what that conversation looked like.
I don't think they're serious people. Like, I think Fresh is out here selling a dream, and I think he's very non-confrontational about most things. And so I think this was probably a sensitive topic for the both of them. Not sensitive, but just like something that was like, okay, press. And he just didn't address it. And I think that probably caused a lot of confusion and dumb stuff in the relationship. Because if you don't want a kid, it's really retarded to have a woman multiple times, like almost miss her pregnancy, and you never talk about it. But the way he responds is so non-confront. Oh, if you're happy, I'm happy. Like, what kind of response is that to somebody telling you they just missed their period, or they thought they did and they were pregnant? You have to be a really fucking stupid or non-confrontational person for that. So I think it's just a personality thing. And then with her English is not the best, so maybe there's a bit of a communication barrier there. But
I agree with what you're saying there, but then she's more stupid than Fresh even, because she's going to bear the bigger cost if she's literally like trying to get pregnant with a dude that she's known for 2 or 3 months and she wants his babies, that has like the host of the Fresh, like that's also incredibly fucking retarded.
Yeah, I think that I agree with you 1,000%. I think that's really stupid on her part, and I told her that as much too. I'm like, I think it's super irresponsible of you to be like rushing a baby with somebody that you don't even want to be monogamous with yet, or you haven't gone there. Like, that's really dumb. And her answer to that I thought was really stupid. But to her credit, she acknowledged that she was really stupid for letting him come inside her all those times, and she said like, I fucked up in that regard. So I at least appreciate that. But that was really stupid. I just don't understand how you're a grown ass adult and you're doing that as a decision with somebody like Fresh. But
sure, but then let's say that was and it was dumb and we know that, why not just get an abortion then?
I think that's probably what's going to happen, no?
Well, yeah, but she does this weird thing where when she's talking sometimes, at least to him, she's like, I don't want to kill it. I don't want to be a murderer. But then other times she's like, I'm not sure if I'm going to keep it.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you can have a bunch of conflicting thoughts in your head. Most women I know who get pregnant, they have some conflict in their mind, right? It's not going to be one-dimensional. If she's still talking like this 2 months from now, then okay. But, at the initial stages within a week, like, I don't expect someone to make the most rational talking points about whether or not they're going to keep something alive or not. Like, for me and you, it's a lot easier. For her, having the hormone changes and everything going on in her head about realizing she's having a kid that she may have always wanted, like, probably going to be a little bit of time before she finally accepts, I have to get this fetus gone. No? You wouldn't imagine, like, if you had something growing and you knew that and you really wanted a child, that you wouldn't have some conflicting thoughts? Well, maybe not you specifically, but for most people? Guilt, fear, all these different emotions run through your mind because, like, at the end of the day, you are just killing a baby or whatever.
I think it fundamentally would come down to your feelings on abortion. That would probably inform the majority of that going in, I imagine.
Yeah, but I think even for people who are pro-abortion, like, it's not like, I've spoken to very liberal women, and they said having an abortion was an incredibly difficult thing for a lot of them. Do I think it's going to be less of a mental barrier for women who are like pro-life or pro-choice? Sure, but they still have that conflict.
Yeah, I mean, I think, yeah, I mean, the conflict never come up. Like, abortions aren't always easy. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of things mingled up in this. I think there's a bit of saltiness with the relationship ending so abruptly with somebody you thought you were going to be with. I think there's, the shock of being pregnant and then also being rejected a second time. I think there's the thoughts of like wanting to have a child, but also not wanting to give up your life. And then, you feeling weird about you having this kid that you thought you always wanted. So there's a lot of mental things that you're probably dealing with all at the same time. So you're going to make contradictory statements in that line. But I think we both agreed that she's going to come to the same conclusion.
If she hasn't already, yeah.
A week or so. If she hasn't already, that's possible, yeah. Okay. All right, well, I won't keep you, brother. Go back to your research.
Okay. I love you. Be careful.
Yes, sir. Cheers.
Bye. Has Fresh and Fit done their Nuke stream yet? Or when is that supposed to happen? I need to go back to 38 minutes? Really?
Because since they want to bring this girl on a platformer, etc., but they don't know the real Daisy Chen. They don't know Jin Chen. But I know Jin Chen. And I'm going to make you guys very familiar with her as well. We're all going to know Jin Chen when this is done.
Hold on. Jesus Christ.
Guys, that's what they've been doing. They made almost 40 videos on this.
The chat?
These guys are obsessed with us.
Is the chat what's causing it to lag?
Hey, mind you, well, actually, no, we're going to talk about that.
Oh, that might have been it.
We're going to talk. This girl is bad news. This is, what the hell? They met on November. Why would you get so nervous? Right? Number 2, she has 3 phones. And and we'll show an Instagram picture right now, actually, real fast, of when she took off. So she goes, after first told her, hey, I don't want to be with you anymore. I don't intend on marrying you.
Bye, chasing new and better life. By the way, this business class sucks. Holy shit.
And, I'm not going to get you an apartment because, mind you, this all started, guys, because she wanted an apartment and Fresh said no, right? And she drops it. So she leaves abruptly and she drops an Instagram story saying bye, going to find a better life, right? And she's getting on a plane to go back to New York, and she's been in New York since, right? She left on or about, I want to say March 26th. I think is the day that she left, March 26th. So they get back. So the timeline again, November 21st they meet, okay? No, they hang out again, December 28th to January 10th for a period of time. Then from March 9th to the 24th, he basically breaks up with her a day or two after they get back. They're back in Barbados here in Miami. Says, hey, I don't want to get you the apartment. I don't want to marry you. I don't think this is going to work out like long term because she wanted a serious relationship. So she gets on a plane and leaves on the 26th, right?
There is no business class on domestic flights. I mean, kind of. I think sometimes they might call first class business class. I don't remember. I feel like I've seen that before. I feel like business and first are kind of interchangeable, I think, if you're on domestic. But then if you're doing international, they'll be different.
Well, actually, no, we're going to talk about that later on. We're going to talk about the pregnancy in a whole other chapter. We got a couple chapters on this thing. But I just wanted to give you guys the relationship, okay? So that's how they met. That's how long they've hung out with each other, known each other. Though they've known each other since November, cumulatively speaking, okay, they only spent roughly between 15 to 20 days actually hanging out with each other and speaking to each other. And during the course of them meeting and hanging out with each other, Fresh is vetting her. He's testing her, he's asking her questions, etc. And she failed the test, right? She failed the test. These are a couple of the red flags that he noticed while he was hanging out with her in person that made him say, I can't commit to this girl. I can't take this girl seriously. Mind you, he was doing this thing at other women as well, which is something that she was also angry about during this whole situation. So there we go. Now that we have an idea of the relationship, let's get into the other elephant in the room, okay? We talked about the first elephant in the room with the relationship and Fresh being an idiot, which he is. Let's just be honest here. He made a big fucking mistake. And it is what it is. Guys make mistakes. No one is perfect, but this one was a big one. And we got to take accountability for that. He fucked up here, right? So as you guys know, she's been running around. She went on Abba and Preach's pod, right? And I'm not surprised. Abba and Preach have been making videos on us for years now at this point. They've made somewhere between 30 to 40 videos on us, talking shit, trying to attack our character, etc. And other podcasts as well she's went on, they're talking about this story, etc. She's essentially been doing a press run the past few days ever since she leaked this phone call and text messages, right? And I'm going to show you guys a clip. One of the things she's been doing is saying that she is not a sex worker, right? So let's go ahead and play the 2 clips where she says this. Here's from one podcast, which I will not name.
They're accusing me for being escort and being on this kind of website. Just use the brand. If I'm Miss Asia and I'm a former bodybuilder, why would I put myself on the internet? On
it doesn't make sense.
Escort website. That is
it doesn't make sense. We even one thing that I didn't.
Okay, so he says, yeah, doesn't make sense. I don't believe it. Yeah, you're not. Now let's go ahead and play our favorite YouTubers here, because and it's interesting because these guys were so quick to try to use this as content to make us look bad. They didn't properly vet this girl, but it's okay. I'm gonna do it for them. Because since they want to bring this girl on a platformer, etc., but they don't know the real Daisy Chen. They don't know Jin Chen, but I know Jin Chen, and I'm gonna make you guys very familiar with her as well. We're all gonna know Jin Chen when this is done. Let's play their clip now.
That I would interview the woman in question at the heart of this whole thing. She provided me a bunch of screenshots, screen recordings, and a bunch of different things. And I think it answered a lot of the questions that would seem to be unanswered before. Things like whether or not she's a sex worker. She isn't. What was the time?
Okay, Abba,
You stupid.
you don't know what you're talking about. I'm going to show it right now. So let's go ahead and she said she's not a sex worker. She's not an escort. Okay, what's this? In this photo that you guys can see here, we can see Jin Chen meeting up with a potential client. Okay, I'm not going to say where this was, But what I'm about to show you guys is all exclusive stuff that no one else has. Okay, but it's an anonymous source. Okay, so this is a photo of her meeting up with a guy, and it gets better. We got video and audio. Run the clip.
If you call me an escort, prove it. Prove it.
Firstly, do you take PayPal?
No.
Cash only.
No. We can transfer. Do you have cash?
I would prefer to pay you half first and then half after. It's never worked out well to pay up front.
Why? I'm here. What are you worried about?
One time, I paid the girl up front. I was pushing. She said she came up 3 times and then she couldn't do it anymore.
So you're going to do it 10 times? Do it?
I have been scammed in the past.
Yeah, but I'm a girl. I need to be more secure. If you're not making excuse, that means you are not willing to pay.
I would like to please you morally for like an hour or so. It's not just to be fun. But yeah, usually I'll be for 2, 3, 4 hours.
Non-stop?
And stop for maybe 30 minutes or less to do it.
I cannot stay for 2 and 3 hours.
You can't stay for 2 or 3
I can stay, but I cannot have sex for 2 and 3 hours. Like, who can do that?
It's not just sex for 2 or 3 hours. You will have to trust me on this. You will not be uncomfortable. You will not be painful. If you are, you may go. I will not force you to stay.
You can pay me half, and I will stay here for 1 hour.
1 hour doesn't mean you're only going to stay 1 hour.
Then I will stay here for 1 hour, you know? Because for you, 1 hour is enough. You said 2, 3 hours. I cannot stay for 2 and 3 hours.
You can't stay for 2 or 3
I
hours.
can't.
Honestly, the onus is on you to make this experience wonderful so that I will want to see you again.
Okay, so let's get started.
Are you sure?
I've got you in my sights.
I could end the podcast right there. But wait!
I mean, for being ultra charitable, the video could be completely fake or highly edited or misleading. It's possible, but I mean, like, okay.
There's more, guys. There's more. Because, see, she's been running around saying that she's not an escort, etc. No, I don't do this, blah, blah, blah. I mean, I'll let you guys decide what you think after seeing that, okay?
Do you think she was recording that? No, I don't think she knew it was being recorded. I don't think she'd ever let people record stuff like this.
We're going to keep going. There's more. I could end it right there, but let's go. Let's keep going. So, obviously, you guys can see here. That sounds like negotiating for something. I don't know what particularly, right? But I think we all know kind of what it may or may not be, right? So she's also talked about how she's a good person and her character, etc. We got some more, guys. So, I have here a Chinese police report. You guys are probably wondering, Myron, what the hell? What's this? Guys, this is a police report where she basically stole money from an individual. Okay, yeah.
Wait. For correctly guessing escort, here's to you, King. ABBA coping hard right now. Okay, just as a quick thing, technically, whether or not I'm right or wrong, in my opinion, doesn't actually matter, because everything is, you're evaluating a person's ability to guess prospectively and not retrospectively. Ugh, why did this not copy paste? Okay, copy all text. Did it do it? Just paste the image into Google. Call the police. Shanghai Police Security Bureau case. Incident received no name. At about 7:40 in the evening on August 27, 2018, the person called the police at about 12 noon on August 27. He met a Chinese woman at Lane, blah, 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 and spent 6,000 won, exchanged $870 with the woman at about 4:45 in the evening. The woman used the DD Taxi app. He called a car, then asked the caller for 6,000 won, and then gave him 6,000 won. He gave it to the woman, and the two got in the car. The other party asked him to withdraw money from the China Construction Bank in Zhuhui District, Shanghai. I don't know. At the China Construction Bank office at Yongzhou Road. We were asked to park the car. The woman got off the car and still didn't get in the car 10 minutes later. The caller called the police. I sent a message to the other party, but the other party said that he did not want to meet with him. The person who called the police felt that he had been cheated, so he reported the crime to the police station. How to inquire about the progress of the case incident? You can inquire about the status of case it's a reporting and acceptance of the Shanghai public. When he came to the police station to report the case, he said, report receiving department signature of the police. Okay. Is her name mentioned at all here, or? This receipt only proves that the public security agency received the situation reported by the caller and does not provide any other proof. Public security organs will review the. Okay, so technically, there's not like there's not a conviction or even a formal charge.
You guys talk about
here.
Abortion. You abort diet and exercise. How about that?
Oh my God! Fuck! I fucked up by clicking on. Technically, there's not like a charge here. Definitely not like a conviction or anything. Also, I don't see her name mentioned unless I missed it. But
let's go. Let's keep going. So, obviously, you guys can see here, that sounds like negotiating for something. I don't know what particularly, right? But I think we all know kind of what it may or may not be, right? So, she's also talked about how she's a good person and her character, etc. We got some more, guys. So, I have here a Chinese police report. You guys are probably wondering, Myron, what the hell? What's this? Guys, this is a police report where she basically stole money from an individual. Okay, yeah. She stole money from an individual, all right? And I had a friend of mine translate.
Just curious, was her name mentioned at all in here? Could be redacted. There could be more pages. All right.
This for me, as you guys would know, I play Overwatch, right? And I have a buddy. I call him
Her name was at the end. Oh, was it?
the Chinaman. And he went ahead and kindly translated this police report for us. And we have it for y'all here. Okay? At about 1940 on the evening of August 27, 2018, the reporter came to the police station to report that he met with a Chinese woman at about 12 o'clock noon on August 27, 2018, right? A reporter for 6,000 RMB, name of the bank. And after getting... So this woman takes this guy's money and runs off with it, right? One of the people that she... one of her clients, right? So what does that say about her character? And you guys might be wondering, Omar, you got proof? Oh, I do got proof, actually. I got video. Here she is, taking the dude's money and doing what she's about to do with it. Oh. Hey, man.
I mean, we don't necessarily know that that's technically what the context of this video was. I feel like we kind of need to know, like, where did that come from? What's it about? What's the...
I mean, I could end it there. I could end it there, can I? But guess what?
I've got you in my sights.
There's more. Let's keep going. The show goes on. The show goes on. We going all the way today, baby. We going all the way, because guess what? I'm fucking Leonardo DiCaprio in this bitch. The show goes on. I'm not leaving. My home. They're going to need a fucking wrecking ball to take me out of here. Let's fucking go. All right, so here, we have her ID, right? Here she is. We obviously blurted out personal information so that we wouldn't dox her. But it's to show you guys that we know what we're talking about here. We actually have her Jin Chen. That's your real name, by the way, Jin Chen. It's not Daisy. You run around calling yourself Daisy Chen, but you're really Jin Chen, okay? And we found out that you got fired from your job, okay? Here's where you used to work for, right? For a marketing company. You were a marketing manager, Daisy, or should I say Jin Chen. And we had the documents to show that you got fired and why you got fired. Again, this is all in Chinese, but guess what? My boy We Rise, once again, a.k.a. Chinaman, the guy that I play Overwatch with and we rage together when we destroy these scrubs. He went ahead and translated for you guys. Once again, shout out to the Chinaman. We got the official documents. Shout out to We Rise. He's on the line as well. But here it is. Here's why she got fired, guys. Okay? Ms. Chen Jing, you have been working at Shanghai Beaming Performance Agency Co. since July 2nd, 2018, and your current job is a business assistant. The 3-year labor contract signed between you and the company on July 2nd, 2018 shall be terminated on August 3rd, 2018, and the employment relationship shall be terminated at the same time due to the following circumstances. What else was going on in 2018 when she got fired from her job around this time? Oh, she was stealing money and negotiating for fun with people in rooms, which we showed a video of earlier. Oh, interesting. Very interesting. By consensus of the parties, the worker is proved to be ineligible for employment during the probationary period. The worker seriously violates the rules and regulations of the unit. The employee seriously derelict in his duties or commits fraud for personal gain, causing major damage to the company.
You stupid.
The employee establishes labor relations with other employers at the same time, which has a serious impact on the completion of the work of the employer, or refuses to make corrections upon the company's request. The personal certification materials provided by the employee to the company are false, or the company concludes or reviews a labor contract contrary to its true intention by coercion or taking advantage of the danger of others. The worker is investigating...
Is this firing thing, is this like a thing where you could have done any of these things, or is this saying she did all of these things?
For criminal responsibility in accordance with law. After the expiration of the medical treatment period, the worker cannot engage in the original job or work arranged by the company. The worker is not competent for the job and is still incompetent for the job after training or job adjustments.
Like other like I feel like this, I don't think she's done all of these things. It's probably she did one of these things, or this is like a blanket fire notice. That's my guess.
There's a major change in the objective circumstance on which the labor contract is concluded, making it impossible to form the labor contract, and the two parties cannot reach an agreement on the change after negotiation between the parties. Other circumstances provided for by laws and administrative regulations. Please go to the company's personal administration department before August 6, 2018 to go through the resignation procedures such as work handover, return of goods, and settlement of expenses and remuneration. So what does this all mean, guys, right? Obviously they have to formally get rid of her and list out why, but obviously we got fraud, using fake documents to get the job, exploiting the company's resources. We actually heard from the boss that fired her that she stole money from the company. So not only was she engaged in nefarious activities that may or may not include sex work,
it said due to the following circumstances, so I think I know what it said in English, but I'm curious in Chinese if that's actually what it...
From clients, right? They file police reports on her. She get fired from jobs because she's stealing from them too. Is this someone that you guys would believe? Obviously, she's been lying all over the place, so she's having inappropriate relationships at her place of work as well, which is another reason why they got rid of her. Interesting. Very, very interesting. But wait, there's more, guys. We're gonna keep going. So as you guys know, right? She said, oh, I don't care about money. I just want to hold Fresh accountable, whatever the hell. Let's run the clip from our guy Destiny real quick, where she went ahead and had a whole conversation with him.
Oh boy.
I don't care about the money. I like this lifestyle. By the United States law, he has to pay for the child support. How much money do you think a man should make for it? Yeah, I told him $1 million.
Walter apologized for everything and came clean on everything. Wouldn't you want him to be involved in like your child's life?
But why would you care about that?
Shouldn't the priority be to like build a healthy life for your future child? Shouldn't that be the focus?
For him.
You don't care. You're not caring. The child right now is just a money ticket for you. You're not caring at all about the child. Why are you leaking
What is
all
the
this
money?
publicly?
What
The money
is
is the child support
money?
you think that you were talking about earlier.
Look,
You're very
who are
familiar
you?
with it.
I don't want to talk to you.
Pause.
Destiny's gonna take a break.
He doesn't want to. She doesn't want to talk to him because he's exposing the truth. You say in one sentence, I don't care about the money. Then you're saying, oh yeah, a man's got to make $1 million a year, right? Guys, this woman is a predator. She's obviously coming and trying to use guys, etc. And here's the thing, right? Like I said before, Fresh fucked up, right? He made a mistake. He shouldn't have messed with this girl in the first. There was an agreement between him and her that they weren't going to have kids. He told her he didn't want kids, and she agreed to that.
Wait, hold on.
Trying to get a response. Oh, what are you going to do to me, etc. You know what? We could play the clip right now. Let's play it real quick. Can we pull it up real fast on the side, guys? The phone call that she had with Fresh. Let's pull that up real quick, right? So she calls him and tries to get a response out of him, and Fresh obviously stays calm, etc. And the thing I also want you guys to know is that there was an agreement between him and her that they weren't going to have kids. He told her he didn't want kids, and she agreed to that. Okay, and I have proof of that right here, right now. Roll the clip from our idiots over there in Canada. So this is when Abba went ahead and interviewed her, right? So first, this is him asking her about them being monogamous, if I'm not mistaken, right? All right.
Oh shit! I thought this was their stream. My bad. Fucking Windows.
Then I ask her, well, why do you not want to be intense about monogamy, but you are rushing to have a kid? I asked him tough questions.
That's a good question.
I'm not.
These morons can't even spell. They were in such a rush to get this video out and try to make us look crazy that they couldn't even spell. That just goes to show how thirsty these clowns are for attention, bro. Dudes went and did a video immediately and shot it. Just shot it. Oh God, we gotta make content. Oh, that's how we'll preach anytime something happens. We literally pay these bums bills, man. Let's go ahead. Let's run the clip.
I'm not softballing it.
Oh no, I ain't mad at you.
No, she's talking about like I don't want to be too intense and like rush like, monogamy, so I'm accepting this. But like, but you want to have a baby with him?
Yeah, I understand because I just felt like I just feel like I'm not that type of girl that I have to be with someone for years to get married, or if I like someone, I can have a kid with him for like a week. Like, it doesn't matter. The time doesn't matter. I was with someone for 9 months. He really wanted to marry me. He's American, and I didn't want that. I ended that. When I met Walter, I just felt like, wow, there's so much chemistry.
What? I mean, I agree.
I'm just trying to
Talk to me.
Look, even the window licker's confused. Even he's like, this doesn't make sense. Even for him, it doesn't make sense. In his head, he's like, why are we doing this video? But again, the thirst for them to make content on us is so fucking strong that they will go ahead and compromise themselves and interview a criminal, which I've proven to you guys, that's pretty much on the run from China in the U.S., okay, doing a
I doubt any of that's true.
bunch of stupid shit. They will interview her for views. And these guys preach integrity. Hilarious. Hilarious. Continue on.
girl that can. I'm not the type of girl that's gonna have to I have to wait for a long time before I marry someone. Huh?
Look, his brain is
What the fuck
frying.
is that?
I mean, there's plenty of people who meet their husbands for the first time.
That's Abba's brain right. That's Preach's brain right now. Like, keep going. Okay, so all right. So obviously she doesn't even make sense when she talks to them, right? Now, here I'm gonna prove to you guys that Fresh not only didn't want to have kids, she knew that, and she agreed with him. She might not admit this, but let's go ahead. Let's play. So Abba asked her this question, right?
The same as saying he really wants to have a child. Why don't you get verbal confirmation that he really wanted a child with you?
God damn, he doesn't mind. Isn't the same as really wants to have a child. Why didn't you get a big verbal? Bro, y'all are fucking stupid over there in Canada, bro.
You stupid.
Fucking Abba and Preach are idiots. Like, yo, they were so thirsty to get this video. They didn't do a spell check. They didn't do a.
Oh, it's just formatted poorly. Doesn't mind isn't the same as really wants to have a child. Why didn't you get big verbal confirmation? That's what they...
Grammar check. No proofreading. They just wanted to get this video out as fast as they could because that's all these guys do is make hit pieces on us. They've been doing this for the better part of 3 to 4 years, bro. These guys are thirsty for content. It's hilarious. We pay y'all bills. You guys are our sons. You guys are literally our sons. You guys talk about us every chance you get. Okay? And Abba, you're a coward and you know I challenge you to a boxing match. You don't want to do it because you know what the hell's going to happen. You're a coward. You know this. But you're going to go ahead and put out these rush videos, interviewing a criminal, giving her a platform, letting her tell you all these lies. You're over here believing her like she's not a sex worker. And I showed you evidence to prove that she is. Okay? So what does this prove? Abba and Preach claim integrity, but they don't have any. I wonder if they're going to make an apology video after this. Nope. Probably not. They never do. That's what they do. They just lie on people, give bottom feeder reaction content. It's fine though, because we're giving a kill shot for you and her. Both y'all aren't credible. Let's keep going.
Okay, is there anything else interesting here, or
because,
can I go?
I was pretty sure that he was so serious about me, but then okay, but at least he's not stupid that if he does this to me, I'm gonna get pregnant. I think it's just misunderstood. Maybe he was just being irresponsible.
Rewind
but
this
for
real
me,
quick.
he's serious.
So one more time, y'all. So they ask her again in that poorly worded question. Let's play it again.
The same as saying he really wants
Go
to
back
have
a
a
little
child.
bit. We're gonna play it all the way uninterrupted. I'm not even gonna say anything. Okay, hit play.
No, he was like, he was kind of like just admitted that if he's gonna make me pregnant, he's just gonna like raise a baby with me, and
Yeah, that's cap.
he
So she says this
didn't
first,
like
right?
say that, but all this his action proves that.
Doesn't mind isn't the same as saying he really wants to have a child. Why don't you get verbal confirmation if he really wanted a child with you?
No, because I was pretty sure that he was so serious about me, but then okay.
Pause.
Oh, wait, fuck. Did I not hear that? Was I not processing that? So, hold on, wait. If I heard that correctly, she just said then they never did actually have a serious conversation about having kids. That's what that means, right? That's how she answered that?
Doesn't mind isn't the same as saying he really wants to have a child. Why don't you get verbal confirmation if he really wanted a child with you?
No, because I was pretty sure that he was so serious about me, but then okay.
Pause. So in one sentence she said he want to have a kid. Then then Abba even asked her, right? Hey, well, why did you get verbal confirmation? No. So she never got confirmation at all that he wanted to have a kid. And again, remember guys, because look, when you look at that phone call, right? As dumb as Fresh is for having sex with this fucking dumb bimbo, right? We need context. So he's with her, knows her for a period of about 20 days. That's why I told y'all, context matters. They had hung out for cumulatively for approximately 20 days. He's vetting her throughout the process, right? But also stupidly having sex with her. Let's add that, right? Unprotected. He says, I don't want kids. She agrees. She does a pregnancy test on the 24th. It's negative. Cool, right? All in the clear. Okay. She knows I don't want kids. She doesn't want to have kids. Keep in mind also, guys, this girl's a bodybuilder. She doesn't want to ruin her body. And we know why she doesn't want to ruin her body besides bodybuilding. It's her moneymaker, if you guys don't remember earlier in the show what we showed. Correct? So, obviously, this girl's had plastic surgery, etc. She's a very vain person. All right? So, in his head, he's thinking, okay, she don't want to have a kid. She want to ruin her body. I told her I don't want a kid. She agrees that. She did a pregnancy test. It's negative. So then a week later, she calls and says, oh, I'm pregnant. Right? Which we have the video right here. Let's play it real quick. Do we have it, Bills? Yeah, the call. So, obviously, he's in shock. Like, what the hell? We're going to have kids. What's going on here? So she calls him and she records it. She records it prior to calling him, which, by the way, is a felony in the state of Florida. Congratulations. You committed another crime besides what you did in China, right?
Well, depends on what state she's in, and that gets complicated, but...
Getting fired from your job for embezzling. And also on top of that, committing acts of potential solicitation here, which we have video proof of. You're committing crimes all over the place. And then you also committed a crime by recording this phone call. It's illegal to record a phone call in Florida. Let's roll the clip. So she calls him a week later, after, mind you, a week after giving Fresh a negative pregnancy test, she calls him a week and says this dumb shit.
I want the baby because I don't want to kill the baby. I don't want to kill nobody. I don't want to.
You're not. They just give you a pill and it's over.
No. I'm pregnant.
No, but that's what I'm saying. The pill, they just give it to you.
This is her, what she posted, right?
A doctor, and then you're good.
I am pregnant. I can't pretending like nothing happened. I can't. In my religion, we don't kill.
You're not killing it. Okay.
I want to keep the baby.
Probing question to get a response.
Well, like I said, I just don't want any kids.
And she knew that. That's not news.
Okay, so what you gonna do? And what you gonna do to me?
Pause. See?
That actually... Oh, fuck. I could have been way more critical. Fuck! I hedged so hard, and you guys gaslight me. Even when I hedged, you guys all shit on me. I should have been more critical of that response.
And she knew that. That's not news.
Okay, so what you gonna do?
Like I said, I just don't want any kids.
Probing question to get a response.
Well, like I said, I just don't want any kids.
And she knew that. That's not news.
Okay, so what you gonna do?
I know that she's probing, but what I'm thinking of is you should envision a different state of mind and see how a person would have responded to figure out if the response makes sense or not. Okay, so if they had talked about having kids, and if both of them had that conversation, and if he had said, yeah, of course I'd be okay with you having kids or whatever, when he says no here, why doesn't she respond to that? There's no response to that. That's the thing. I just didn't think of that. I don't know why I didn't think of that. It's so obvious.
They just give you a pill and it's over.
No. I'm pregnant.
No, but that's what I'm saying.
Like, is there ever a part in this entire phone call where she's like, you said you would take care of me. You said we would have a baby. You said you wanted a family or whatever. Does this ever come up in this phone call? Ever? Like a single time? I know when she's on shows later, she brings up, well, we talked about buying a house or something. Does that ever come up in that phone call or?
The pill, they just give it to you from a doctor and then you're good.
I am pregnant. I can't pretending like nothing happened. I can't. In my religion, we don't kill.
You're not killing it. Okay.
Like, at any point here, if they'd had this conversation, she would reference it here. You said this. You told me we would do this. You said that we could do that. You said that you'd take care of this. You said, but that never happens.
I want to keep the baby.
Probing question to get a response.
Well, like I said, I just don't want any kids.
And she knew that. That's not news.
Okay, so what you gonna do? And what you gonna do to me?
Pause. See, guys, like,
I want to be clear because people keep saying like, oh, well, she's emotional. She's not emotional here. This doesn't sound like an emotional person at all. Like this is not an emotional woman that's like screaming or like this is a person recording a phone call. And XQC actually pointed this out in his stream, which was a really good point. She sounds like somebody that's recording a phone call. There is a sound when a person is. We watched Amaranth do this as well. Like, hey, how's it going? Oh, I'm so upset about blah 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 blah. Why are you so mad? Didn't I tell you we weren't going to do anything? Yeah, but blah, 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 blah. Okay, well, did I ever actually say that? Blah, 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 blah. Okay, I don't know why you're screaming at me right now. I'm super calm. Because of you, blah, 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 blah. I don't think I ever said that exactly. Do you remember me saying that? 100%? Blah, blah, right. It's like the one-sided recording is, there's always like, it's very obvious when you're like, it's like you're in trial. It's like asking a witness questions for like the jury is essentially what's going on, yeah.
That's not news.
Okay, so what you gonna do? And what you gonna do to me?
Well, see, guys, like the fact that she's like, bro, who does that? Who calls, right?
I don't think, initially I read it as like a blackmail, like, oh, she's trying to get him to say some fucked up shit. What are you going to do to me? But I think you can, those are articles that get mixed up in Chinese, aren't they? If you say like, what are you going to do to me? What are you going to do for me? Could you conceivably, where's Wicked Supreme? Could you conceivably mix those two words up? What are you going to do to me? What are you going to do for me? I don't think she meant that in like a, what are you going to do to me kind of way. I think she just fucked her words up there. I'm totally guessing without any actual knowledge of the Chinese. That just based on how the conversation continues from there, that's what it sounds like.
Like, and this is what I'm trying to say when I say we got to question everything, right? She calls him, recording the phone call, asking probing questions to try to get an emotional response to make it look crazy. After they had agreed that they were not going to have kids, and you guys saw even in her own interview, she never got confirmation from first that she wanted kids. He told her we're not going to have kids. She agreed to them not having kids. She admitted that in the interview as well, right? But then she calls him saying, I'm pregnant. And on top of that, she had done a pregnancy test a week before. So let me ask you all a question. With the totality of the circumstances, with what we've shown that this woman is a liar, a manipulator, a thief, a criminal, a sex worker, okay? Do you think she's honestly telling the truth here with her being potentially pregnant? She's been doing a fucking press run the past week, going on every single podcast that will have her to talk about this, to bring up her brand and bring up her new Twitter that she just made and her Instagram. She's been doing interviews all over the place. Who would do that if they were actually pregnant with someone's kid? She's been doing a social media blitz, okay?
That is really
she has
weird.
The gall
that was one of my big
ways. So yeah, I'll name the kid Abba Preach, Chen, whatever. Like what? Who does that? If you were actually pregnant, would you actually do this stuff? Right?
Nope.
The reality is this, guys. He didn't want to be with her. He sent her home. She got angry about it, waited a week.
Also, for somebody who's like kind of clueless and doesn't know what's going on or blah, 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 why does honestly, this is a big thing too, but I never brought this up. Fuck you guys. I should have been able to bring this up before, but you guys would have said I'm being crazy. One big question I have is, I think this is a legitimate question. Why the fuck does she have Discord? That's actually, in my opinion, that's one of the weirder things that's happening here. I have no fucking idea why this chick has Discord. That's really wild to me. When Gisticle told me that he thought he was going to get her on stream, I thought it was a fake person because that was my first thing. There's no way this random Chinese chick or whatever. I don't even think I think they use like a WeApp or they use like there's like or WhatsApp and there's like other weird programs that shit people use. And generally, especially like in this world, like if I meet a random chick in Miami, nobody here is fucking Discord. That's like a gamer nerd thing. And I think there are some, I'm trying to think of outside like gamer, techie, whatever communities. Not like the idea that like that's just such a weird thing. I don't know. Oh wait, hold on. Someone said it's because she played Overwatch with Fresh. That could be it, maybe. If she was already playing games with them on Discord, although she has mobile Discord too, then maybe I don't know. But maybe if she got it, if she had it for playing against other people, that could make sense.
Someone probably got in her head while she was up there in New York, and she said, you know what? I'm done with this guy.
I mean, she didn't have PayPal or Cash App either. There are certain apps that if you're escorting, people won't take payments on them. They'll do crypto, cash, or there are a couple that are like good for anonymous stuff, but I don't think escorts or people that do sex work will use apps like PayPal, Cash App. I don't think they'd use Venmo either. I don't think. I could be wrong, but
I'm going to burn down the whole building while I do it because I'm angry and I feel a certain way. So I'm going to let my emotions get the best of me, and I'm going to air out all this stuff because they're not going to know about my past in China.
Everyone has Discord nowadays. That is absolutely not true.
They're not going to know that I got fired from a job for embezzling. They're not going to know that I was running around selling myself to people on the internet. They're not going to know that I was a sugar baby and that I was doing all this other stuff. They're not going to know that I stole money.
If she isn't pregnant, then what's her plan? Are they saying she's just going to disappear after Fresh pays her? I think the goal is just coming. There's no chance the baby's coming. I think if she was pregnant, it's already aborted. I don't even know if she was ever pregnant. That's my guess.
We do now, Jin Chen. We know who you really are. You're not credible at all. Because you thought that your past in China wouldn't get back to us, but it did. Because in your own foolish attempt to go viral with this, people came forward and told us who you really are. You thought you would escape China and your past back there, but it came back to haunt you, and it's coming back to haunt you now. And you're getting buried with the fucking truth. Because everything I showed is factual. We know who you really are. We know what you really do. We got video. We got documents. Everything. Let's read some of these chats. We got here Zachary. Fucking mic drop, bro. Like, this chick is done. Like,
Wow, it's not
you're
high. Thanks for the
credible.
gift of sub.
You're not, Jin. I know you're watching this thing right now. Jin Chen, you are not credible.
Is there anything else, or are we good?
Behind closed doors. Y'all could.
All right, I love you guys. I gotta go gym. My gym closes in an hour and 40. Be careful. Reverend cappuccino, 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 cappuccino. Catch you guys next. Wait. Ooh, hold on. Can I extrapolate from that? Hold up. Oh, that's kind of interesting. Am I reading too deeply into that? What was the date that she leaked Fresh's stuff? Does anybody remember? Was it on the 3rd or the 4th? It might have been the 4th. Jessica, just looking at her Discord account that she was communicating on was made on April 3rd. So she literally made this fucking account, like, just to start jumping into. I knew it! I've just got a huge brain. My brain is so fucking big. I have such a big brain. I talk to so many chicks that have no fucking Discord at all. As soon as I have to worry when I bring this shit. I'm like, hey, do you have Discord? And like, ooh, actually just lose my number, fam. I'm like, oh, fuck you, bro. Cool people have Discord. They're like, I only talk on WhatsApp if you want it, or fucking Snapchat or whatever. It depends if you're talking to Europeans or not. God, I have such a big brain. Did someone ask her to create one? I don't care. She joined. She had better mic quality than 99% of the guests. This is a media blitz. This is a media tour. It's all intentional. The baby trap guess is up to 52% now. We're over 50%. Okay, 52% is the guess.